Hi, it's Joy and today I'm going to be watching Lucifer Season 6, Episode 6, A Lot Dirtier Than That. Oh my goodness, Lucifer, I'm stressed because, yeah, a few weeks until he supposedly vanishes and abandons everybody, which he would never do, so something terrible is going to happen to either make him think leaving is the best option or to drive him away, and I'm stressed. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of this reaction on my Patreon, along with all my reactions 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance, and let's go.
I thought you knew I was here, man. I mean, I've been around all morning. Sleep, and I want to be here for you.
I know, but he can't talk to you.
Need what? Oh, man, there's only 4 people in the entire world.
Oh, you know, but maybe you should see someone that's not at work, my love.
Start thinking about Rory and how she's feeling.
Odd. That's what May said.
Yeah.
That is odd.
From the sound of how you grew up, it sounds like it really wasn't great. I'm sorry. Mom, you have nothing to apologize for.
Good old American gun laws, that's a sight you're going to be getting used to.
Caleb Mayfield? I said, are you Caleb Mayfield? Get down on the ground, get your hands in your head.
Oh god.
Get down on the ground.
Bastards rise.
Keep it to the living room. No need to waste taxpayer dollars when we already know what happened.
We do not know what happened.
Or maybe the Easter Bunny came in through that window. Harris, let's go Lola for a fuzzy dude. But the simplest explanation is usually the right one.
For a racist.
Look, if you ever want to decide what gets processed and what doesn't, just keep your head down.
Yeah.
Keep your eyes on your job.
Problem is, things like that is what lets the bad apples rise, is, you know, you ignore the little things, so then when they do a big thing, you're not there, but you could have called out the little things. Ella, talk to someone about what you found. Let Dan be watching you to see.
Tell me anything, no matter how out of this world.
Lucifer has told you many a time, my love. She's so feeling for wings. And a halo. Is he literally trying to give her Christmases? He hired... Oh, Lucifer, he always goes over the top instead of dealing with the emotional side of it.
Every year that I've missed. Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
Oh, Lucifer, please deal with the real emotions.
Your first Christmas, grown up, would be appropriate. Ho, ho, no!
Oh, he is really trying.
A+ for enthusiasm, but not a smart move to go over a detective's head.
The detective is a racist bastard.
Wait, hold on. The guy who pulled the gun on you?
And harassed Caleb, yeah. Apparently there was a complaint filed, but nothing happened. Scratch that.
He got promoted.
There's procedures, and usually, in the end, they do get it right.
A lot less pain and suffering if they do it the right way first. I am stressed for Amenadiel that his police officership isn't going to last very long. But someone with his zeal and drive
So Kevin wasn't involved with gangs at all?
No.
should be... They should, like, take note of it. You know, take note of what he did. Be like, we applaud your, your enthusiasm for the work, but you have to follow the chain of command still. But also the chain of command should listen to people.
I had a lot of time and hell to think about things I wish I'd done differently. And fighting bullshit racists like that in the department is definitely one of them.
True American beauty.
Has she been driving it for a long time?
Easy on the gas.
He's trying so hard to act like he's okay with this.
Oops. So that's where that scratch came from.
You should see the rap sheet on this guy. My theory?
He's so idealistic.
Someone busted into Kevin's...
Chloe and I play by very different sets of rules. Chloe's dad was a cop, so she's legacy. And also there's... What is it about Chloe? Oh, right, she's white. Yes. I turned down a detective seat because they wanted to ship me out to the Palisades, get me...
Now,
It's just little racists helping little racists.
I'll always regret how I treated that kid.
For real?
Manual, fear can get the best of you. But
Fear driven by racism.
person who got hit on those prints Lopez found. Michaela Williams.
Do you still think she's the killer?
Guess what? She's got gang ties. Guess it's up to a jury, huh?
Oh, see, he's still the same guy.
Looks like the victim.
His hell loops are going to be interesting, I hope. But then do people like him feel guilt? That's the flaw with this system, is if he never feels guilt, he'll be straight to heaven.
How to.
Oh, Lucifer, every time he walks right up to the point and then he swerves it. He's got the dad dancing down.
Nice.
This is not what she meant, Lucifer.
So she's going to give you all sorts
Lucifer, remember, thinking out someone else's feelings is listening to them.
People not him. He's just, you know, a man. Human or angel, they're just...
Oh my god. He's trying.
I see it from you.
Maze is into it. Sweet Lucifer, this isn't the way. Talk to her emotionally. Maze.
Not when I learned to drive or fly, for that matter.
He would be. He wants to be.
Every Christmas. I want you to leave me alone.
That's not true.
Rory.
Give her space right now, but that isn't true. Give her a little bit of space, but then don't give her all the space. Follow up.
The party was great.
Maze is such a supportive friend.
These kids don't have the luxury to separate the person
No.
from the uniform. If I see something, I say something. But carefully. To the right person.
To the right person?
Yeah, that's how it is.
No, that can't be it. Whatever it is, I would pick you first.
You're a weird one.
He is.
But you're all right.
You'd assume he was raised in some kind of weird religious cult with a name like Amenadiel.
Let's just say please give her my number.
Yeah, if anyone's going to bring her in, you want it to be them.
How the hell are we going to run this without anyone finding out?
Ella Lopez.
I saw you have to help me.
They will come for you.
Of course, just
Hurry, please.
Go, 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 go.
where you are. We'll be right there.
How powerless is it? Because Amenadiel could just fly and get there so fast, but he has to drive in a patrol car. Can't tell if these noises are background music noises or like someone here. But the person who's after her might be here.
It was so loud.
We believe you. Someone watch behind you, please.
I didn't even have a chance to have to believe me.
I do.
But please can we be careful because the killer is here. Yep. We can't get down.
Get down. You want to get shot?
Yeah, it's... Oh, I think I'd struggle so much with that. Call out his name and say, we know who you are. Killing her is not going to make a difference.
Surrounded by half a dozen cars.
On the ground now!
Holy shit.
Take her down.
I said get her.
She's defenseless.
Get away from her, you idiot.
No, I'm not.
Please just do what they say. Put your hands on your head. Hands on your head. Off of him.
God, she's defenseless. Just cut, like... You're really not going to trust your own officers in this? We'll see how quickly we can get you arrested. I don't necessarily blame the two cops that pulled up as beat cops because they heard on the radio that the suspect was a woman. They didn't hear that the suspect was him. So I don't know that I fully... But Amenadiel. That is why you need good cops on the force.
She, a completely innocent woman, was almost killed by the people who were supposed to protect her.
She wasn't even threatening. She had her hands up.
If we hadn't been there
But
tonight...
we were.
That's why she keeps doing it. However much it destroys her.
How I do it.
Are they gonna play music together? She's sharing a part of herself with him. It's so beautiful. Is she gonna come back to work because she can see just how many bad apples there are and how we need the good ones? I really want them to have a relationship, and I want her to grow up with him there. He wouldn't be a perfect father, but he would be a loving father that tried. And that's what you really want. That's so beautiful. Lucifer is definitely in the how much can we make Joy cry stage of things. Oh my god, I also feel like, I don't know, I'm really washed out today, but you know, perks of being ridiculously pale. Oh my god, this episode. One thing I'm really proud of with this show is how it has never shied away from covering the Black Lives Matter subject line, the corrupt cops, the bad apples, because given that this is not just a standard police procedural, it is a show that is about angels and demons with the police stuff thrown in. They could be forgiven for kind of just saying, oh, you know, we'll do a little storyline just there, but it's not really what our show is about, so we're going to focus on other things. But they have never shied away from it, and that is something that is so important. And as I always preface, I know I am not the best person to discuss this because look at me, but it's such an important thing to get out there. And this kind of story where you see the woman who's been on the force for a long time and has been beaten down time and again by seeing the injustices and knowing that every time she tried to do the right thing and she was out and she raised her voice about it, she told people about it, it was squashed and squashed and squashed. And it didn't matter how good a cop she was, it was squashed. And then from Menadil, who's the, I mean, he's not young, but the new idealistic person on the beat wanting to make that difference and not giving them the time, not giving them the chance to hide, being outspoken. And I understand what she says, that, you know, if you keep raising your voice about it, they'll find a way to get rid of you. Whereas if you do it more sneakily, then you can stick around, and by being there you make change. But it is small scale change, and that's why we need to defund the police. And that, you know, I'm not an expert in defund the police, and I will never try and claim I am an expert on defund the police, but from my understanding of it, or at least the people I've read and heard speaking about it, it doesn't mean getting rid of the police. It means defunding it and allocating some of those resources to mental health facilities, to counsellors, to youth clubs, to things like that, and having police be like a last resort case rather than like the go-to one. Like traffic stops, you don't need to have a gun to do a traffic stop. I mean, I get that with America's crazy laws you do, but you know, here, if you hear about a shooting, it is out of the ordinary. It is, what? How did they have a gun? Was it like a hunting rifle? Because those are still licenses for some reason. There needs to be so much systemic change within the police force, and that doesn't even take into account the various sheriff's departments in America that were literally founded to hunt runaway slaves. That was their sole purpose, was to oppress people of colour. And so then when people are like, I'm proud of my black, I'm proud of my badge, I'm proud of being a blue, lives matter, you're just supporting racists, and you're saying it with your whole chest. Like I said, that doesn't mean all cops are bad. I stand by all cops are bastards, but I think part of why that slogan is so effective and like accurate is because for so long the good cops have stayed silent. And there's that culture of, in every cop show you watch, when someone from IA comes in, it's the rat squad. Well, no, that is the organisation that is designed to find corrupt cops. If you are a good cop, you should find nothing wrong. Obviously, an IA person could be corrupt, etc. But that is something this show has never shied away from. And, you know, almost the first time they covered it, that could have been them like, tick, you know, we've done our bit. But they really have never ever shied away from that. They've not made it seem like it was just something they did as a token to try and appear woke. They've truly done it in a way that has become a pivotal part to so many of the plot lines. And I personally think they're handling it really well. Obviously, if anybody who is a person of colour feels differently, I will acknowledge that I do not have the real experience that they're depicting here. I think something that they are doing as well, quite well depicting, is the white characters, namely Chloe and Dan, kind of realising just how bad it is and realising that although they've never added to the problem, they've not noticed it either. And maybe it wasn't obvious to them because they were white, but there probably have been times where they could have done more if they'd been aware. And that, again, is part of the problem with all cops are bastards, is it's very easy to assume another cop is doing the right thing and in the end they'll get there, than it is to face the fact of the truth of it all. I think Dan, being dead, has 100% kind of realised that and would do a lot of things differently. And I do wonder whether Chloe is going to choose to kind of like come back to the Force so that she can make a difference, so that she can be another good apple, so another person there. Also, she's been super missing it, and yeah, I don't know, it'll be interesting though. We haven't seen Carol in a while, though I suppose if he'd been on the case, he wouldn't have been so quick to suspect. Like, yes, of course, you have to consider every aspect. If you are in a neighbourhood in which there are many members of gangs, you have to consider a gang motive. But that shouldn't be the only motive you consider. It should be something that you have to think of every possible thing. Because even if these people aren't in a gang, did they get the wrong house, you know? But the way he was so dismissive and then the way he was so eager to kind of like act like he was being a great guy to amend a deal, and then immediately you'd be like, so obviously it's the black woman. It's just disgusting. I'm proud of how they handled it, or at least I think they handled it well, I guess is what I mean to say, and it is a very necessary thing, and they are dedicating a decent portion of this final season to it, and that is a good thing. Then the whole plotline with Lucifer. Again, what Lucifer always does is he finds the point, he runs directly at it, you think he's going to get there, and he swerves. And he's always done that. And often he swerves and sometimes manages to make it back to the point. I think Rory can see that he was trying in his own way. And, you know, I don't think she hates him anymore. It's not going to erase those feelings that she's had her entire life. But I don't think she just feels hatred for him. I think she feels a lot of things. It's very hard to know what she feels. But the fact that she waited in his apartment, heard the lift coming, the elevator coming, and started playing music. She was vulnerable around him. She showed him that part of herself. A part that she knew he shared, and they got to sing together. They each lowered their walls. I think that is what is most important. And she doesn't really know what she wants, because what she wants is her dad, and what she wants is for her dad to have never not been there, and she can't have that. And so does she feel anger towards this man that technically hasn't left her yet, but is going to, and it's a lot. I think if she was able to detach her emotions, she would possibly, well, she would be able to look at it and think, oh, well, he hasn't done it yet, and he can't imagine ever doing it. Oh, I don't know, like, am I angry at him? Whereas obviously, that's not how obviously, she's in her feelings, she feels it, and naturally she does. But that final scene with them singing together was so beautiful. I hope that she is able to find her way back to her timeline, but part of me wonders if we're going to change the future and will she like cease to exist, or will there just be an extra Rory around. I loved hearing little bits about her relationship with Trixie, that Trixie is of course her much bigger sister. Not quite as big as my age gap with my sister, but she's older and she's T, like her cool big sister. I love that so much. And just to hear that, you know, Chloe has been there for her, of course she has. I do wonder when she says like Chloe had a lot to deal with, I assume that was like Chloe raising two orphan, I mean obviously not orphaned in the sense that they've lost her, but two fatherless children, each dealing with that in their own way and in the crazy lives they lead. But this was an honestly fantastic episode. I do wonder if in her future either some sort of earth-shattering catastrophe happens or Chloe dies. Because when she said, oh, you know, I thought this would be the one time he'd show up and he didn't, and I got so angry, it kind of makes me feel like Chloe died and she didn't have any parents, and she thought, you know, this is this man that apparently loved my mother and he never showed. That's kind of the time I feel like she came back. So I need us to avert this entire timeline. It cannot happen. This was such a good episode. A reminder that you can find the unedited version of these reactions on my Patreon. You get this 2 weeks in advance, the edited version 1 week in advance. Thank you so much for watching.